of the challenges of powder coating is being able to address and overcome Faraday cage effect and or back ionization. For the OptiFlex Pro user, there are a number of different options that are available to you. Most people are starting with utilizing the flat parts or easy to coat mode, and that's because we get full power, 100,000 volts and 100 microamps capability. And when that doesn't work and we find that we're overcharging or having difficulty getting powder into the nooks and crannies or recessed areas, generally we're going to ask that you reduce some of the charging power. The simplest way is to select the complex geometry, which makes an adjustment on the current, taking it from a capability of 100 microamps down to 22 microamps. And by being able to adjust that current in this preset mode, it helps us to be able to get penetration into areas and get coverage into some of the complex geometries that maybe you're coating, allow some of those more difficult powders to be sprayed much easier. For some applications, that's still too much power, and by selecting the recoat mode, we find that we can make another adjustment, which in this case sets the current at 10. So going from 100 to 22, and now we're down to 10 microamps. These are very dramatic adjustments in current that allows us to be able to limit the amount of power that is emitted from the gun and therefore the charging. So although we are losing some of the efficiency of the application by not using as much electrostatic charge, we're getting better coverage and uniformity, and so we're balancing those two. For some of the more challenging applications, we may find that going into a custom program would be the preferred choice. In this case, program 2, we find that we are set at 100,000 volts and 5 microamps. That's again a very dramatic adjustment from the recoat mode that we were using previously. This limits the amount of power that's coming from the gun and helps us to be able to overcome back ionization much more easily and get coverage in a more readily fashion. For those applications that are more challenging, the powders are either highly chargeable or the product that we're trying to coat is so complex, we may find that going to a program which limits the current. So in this case, I've set the current to a maximum of 2.5. In each one of these cases, the control unit will not allow the gun to draw more current than we have set. And that will limit the amount of power that is coming from the gun. So each time that we are making an adjustment, obviously if we were to take this from 2.5 down to something lower, we would even be limiting the power even more. Once you have determined kind of a rough setting, once we are in the PCC mode, which is why we are seeing this in the red, once we get below 10 microamps, we are in what we call a precise charge control. And that allows us to be able to control the amperage in half increments. And so in this case, we could make a fine-tune adjustment either way if we were looking to improve the coverage or capability. So we have some presets, we have some custom program capability, and one final option that's available to the OptiFlex Pro user is to be able to utilize what we call the Super Corona Ring. All of the OptiFlex Pro guns come with a mounting bracket that allows us to be able to adapt the Super Corona Ring very easily. This is an optional tool that's available to OptiFlex Pro users. The Super Corona Ring is a grounding ring that surrounds the backside of the electrode and the nozzle assembly, and it's actually pulling electrostatic charge from the front of the gun back here to these grounding rings that are then taking that charge away through our ground circuit for safety. The Super Corona Ring is an excellent tool for, again, trying to overcome difficult to coat products where orange peel and Faraday cage effect are an issue. Even for those customers that are looking for a smoother finish with thicker coatings, the Super Corona Ring can be an excellent tool of choice in those applications. So between the Super Corona Ring and the other features on the control unit, such as the presets or custom programming mode, the OptiFlex Pro has a number of different options that are available to help any of the users be able to effectively coat the product with maximum charge and performance. Hopefully this helps you to be able to overcome back ionization and Faraday cage effect, understanding a little bit more about the electrostatic control options with OptiFlex Pro.